live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is the haps? Soggy Boy back at you, coming with that divisional round of heat. I'm with Drew. I'm with Nick. What's going on, gentlemen?
What's going on, boys?
Oh, living life, buddy.
Yeah, I know Drew is not feeling well, so hopefully we can squeeze the ever-living shit out of him for as much content as possible before we toss his carcass into bed for rest. Wow. Talk about an insane wildcard weekend. I mean, we'll talk about this after our headlines, but the sheer number of teams we just did not expect to win in the fashions that they did was incredible. Incredible.
I was a Packers fan this weekend.
I mean, as a Packers fan, I'm sure Drew must be feeling great.
I'd love to see the Cowboys crumble.
I'd be feeling a whole lot better if we weren't heading to San Francisco. But I feel as good as I possibly can, yes.
I mean, you know, it's obviously like a double-edged blade because you shellacked the Cowboys. You know, Jordan Love won his first playoff appearance, right? And had nearly a perfect game. But now you play the bane of your entire existence. Oh, he did? I thought he was off by like point something.
Yep.
I thought he was off by like point
No, that was
4.
CJ Stroud that was off by 1 point.
Oh, I see. Okay. Which was weird too, because he got like
Jordan Love had a perfect passer.
His CJ Stroud's PFF rating was like 70 something for that game, which is ass. Why I don't trust Pro Football Focus for anything anymore. Yeah, no, it makes no sense. They had similar stats, and one was graded like 20 points higher than the other. Headlines, obviously, the slates of games we saw over the weekend, Wildcard Weekend, with the Texans and the Packers absolutely routing the Browns and the Cowboys, respectively. More news, more headlines. Jason Kelce, after losing to the Bucs in embarrassing fashion, retires. No surprise there, especially after watching him on the sideline for the last 5 minutes. It looked like a man who left everything on the field and was never going to come back. So, other headlines, other news. Patriots hired Gerard Mayo as their head coach pretty fast. I think like 2 or 3 days after they fired Bill Belichick. I mean,
they were just waiting.
I think it was the next day. Was it really? I thought they like waited like, at least 2 or 3 days. But
as soon as their season was over.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense though. You don't keep that guy as in a linebacker coach's position if you're not going to promote him to head coach.
Yeah, of course.
Right. You don't want
your head coach contract. Like that was pretty much.
That's what I'm saying. Like it was in his like. People who weren't paying attention to that deal knew like it was going to be Gerard Mayo. He wanted to like we talked about last week, Drew. He wanted to leave. He wanted a title. He wanted DC. He wanted defensive coordinator position, but he forewent. How do I say that? Forewent. Forego.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yes. Forewent
that DC position elsewhere to stay in-house, learn more under Bill Belichick, and eventually take over his position. I mean, it was pretty seamless as far as head coaching succession plans. So I'm glad that they made him the head coach. I think that it's good to have a homegrown player too. It adds a little bit of that. I think it just adds a little bit of like fan sentiment into it, especially with Robert Kraft being the owner and having obtained the team the way that he did. I think it's definitely on brand for the Patriots. So I'm excited to see what he has to bring. Another defensive-minded coach, which is good because, their defense is everything to them. So I'm just going to be excited to see what they bring in for offensive minds.
You fucking better, or else it's going to be another
well,
rough
think about it like this. I mean, he is going to want to bring guys in of his own, and anyone that he brings in is at least going to have some semblance of a better understanding of it and a current NFL offense than Bill Belichick does in the year 2024. I mean, the defense has always played well. There have been games here and there, whatever, but he has always been able to coach a defense, and whatever team he goes to, he needs defensive coaching. I think it's very interesting that people have him going to the Falcons. I don't know why. I don't really see the fit there because they're not one or two players away. They're just not. Unless he's expecting to go somewhere where he's going to coach for the next 4, 5, 6 years or whatever. I don't know. Other headlines, any other headlines from you boys that you want to talk about before we move into our Wildcard Weekend? Lightly go over the matchups and then go back into our divisional round.
Headlines. Hasn't really been much. I just saw something that 15 people from the Chiefs game went to the emergency room.
I saw that. Well, with frostbite and stuff like that.
Whatever, cold related issues that happened. Head coach news. I saw that Bill Belichick was interviewed for the Falcons
gig. Yep.
Cowboys have interest. Like rumor mill. It's not out there, but rumor mill.
Yeah.
And Bill's linked to the Eagles. Again, not official. Rumor mill.
I don't see the Eagles. I think that's too weird of a fit. I mean, and also, why would you go to a team that beat you in a Super Bowl?
I don't see how the Chargers aren't a front runner here.
That's what I'm saying. That Chargers team is the quintessential, like, amazing on paper but terrible in practice team. Like, they need good coaching. They need a defensive-minded coach to step in.
If you put Bill Belichick in charge of that situation, oh my God.
And unfortunately for them, they're on the wrong coast. It doesn't seem like he wants to go to Los Angeles. He wants to be closer on the East Coast. Obviously he's made a home in New England, but I mean, think about all the teams that he's coached: the Patriots, the Jets for one day, the Browns, the Giants.
A little bit, yeah.
They've all been in the northeast sector. So
he wasn't with the Cowboys at all, right? Why do I feel like I have a picture of him in Cowboys?
I don't know his entire coaching track off the top of my head. I know that he has only been the head coach of 2 teams. Was a defensive coordinator for the Giants in the 80s when they won their Super Bowls, and then obviously the whole Jets debacle. But he did some time as a linebackers coach somewhere. It might have been the Cowboys. It completely could have. I just don't remember. But I know he worked at like Navy and all that too.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, Dallas would be interesting. The Chargers would be interesting. I think the Falcons are more of a like a regional move, moving down to Atlanta. I mean, it's not terribly far, it's only like a 2-hour plane ride from Boston and for where his family is currently sitting. I could, like, that's the thing, those teams in that area, I could see the Falcons, I guess. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I could see it in that standpoint. I could see the Commanders. I think that ownership team, obviously them buying the team from Dan Snyder, they want to make a splash. They want to make a statement and say, hey, we are hiring, the best coach of all time. Oh, okay, bye, Drew. Hiring the best coach of all time to come in and fix our team. Yeah. So I think from a logistical standpoint, the Chargers make the most sense. From a Bill Belichick standpoint, the Commanders make the most sense. But in the end, I have no idea what is going to affect his decision making, because he really can go anywhere. He can go anywhere he wants and be the head coach of whatever team he wants to be. So I don't know. I don't know where he goes. Obviously he interviewed with the Falcons to start. He is head coach option number one for most teams. I'm sure there are some teams that are looking for someone younger and want to build around that. But yeah, so those are my 2 cents on the ye old Bill Belichick saga. Any other headlines that we can think of, or you want to move straight into Wildcard Weekend?
For me, it's not really a headline, but I want to ask you guys, where do you guys see Mike Vrabel going?
That's a good question. I could see Mike Vrabel going to the Chargers. They need that defensive coaching, so I could see that. They need a strong-willed head coach over there.
I don't love that.
Not that I love it, but again, it's the same argument for Bill Belichick. It's a logistical thing. They need defensive coaching. They need a defensive head coach. That's what they need.
Yeah, that defense was dog shit. Now that they're gonna,
they're dog shit, but they have it's literally like, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It's the sum is worse than all of its parts somehow. Yeah. So
they're gonna have to let go of Khalil Mack, because his cap hit is just so huge.
Why do you need Khalil Mack when you have Joey Bosa on one side? You still have Derwin James. You have Asante Samuel Jr. You still have good linebackers. You're gonna need to draft defensive minded, and Mike Vrabel's the guy to do it. So you don't need any more pieces on that offense. You really don't. I mean, even when Austin Eckler goes out, they draft Austin Eckler like light in all the running backs that they've picked up in the last 3 or 4 years. So I don't know. Where do you think, Drew, Mike Vrabel would end up? Mike Vrabel to me, seems like a Cowboys head coach too.
Ugh, fucking hell.
That would be tough, because they
awful.
I mean, I don't know that the Cowboys aren't going to stick with McCarthy. That kind of feels like the Cowboy thing to do. So
I just don't understand why they would continue to stay with him after years and years of never breaking through that hump. At some point, you need a change.
The Cowboys are going to cowboy. No matter how good they are, fine. They cannot win in the playoffs. Period. Point blank.
Ever. They really don't. They really don't. It's crazy.
They're a regular season team. It's how it's always been.
They cannot put it together. Yeah. The ultimate fucking regular season team, because at least other regular season teams make it to the championship game every once in a while, yada yada. The Packers are.
Oh, there you go. This just in. Dallas is not firing. Dallas is not firing him.
Really?
So they're sticking with.
Yeah,
I
didn't think so.
Mike McCarthy. Yep, this just in.
Interesting.
So all right, so no one's going to Dallas.
So interesting.
I think that's a mistake. I really think that's a mistake. Especially after how bad that they got beat by the Packers. I think Drew's frozen. We'll continue on. But yeah, let's talk about Wildcard Weekend. Again, there were some very shocking results coming out of Wildcard Weekend. Sorry, Drew, you got cut off and just froze, so we continued on. I don't think okay. Anyways.
Such is life.
All right, sorry about that. So let's talk about AFC first. Obviously, the Texans drubbed the Browns. Amazing first half of the game. Drew and I watched that game before I inevitably passed out. Yeah, no, I was out of it. Yeah, great first half of that game. Very close. I think it was what a 1-point game at half, 21-20. And then this meltdown. It might have been a little different. It was a close game though at half. I honestly, Drew, I might have been thinking about our game that we also played simultaneously, Texans and Browns, on Madden. But that was also a really good game. Side note, that game was surprisingly similar to the entire first half of the actual Texans-Browns game. Like Brevin Jordan and Amari Cooper like having similar plays, except they were flipped. Where Brevin Jordan had the touchdown in real life, Amari Cooper had the touchdown. And anyways, you had to be there. Sorry. So, yeah, I mean, the Browns is just a second half collapse. It's just what it seems like to me. They just couldn't keep up with C.J. Stroud. I mean, he made play after play after play.
So good.
I mean, like, I think it's funny that the three of us are here because obviously
it was 24-14 at the half.
Texans. Okay. I mean, so
yeah. Also, my stream is very clearly very fucked up. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
I'm so lagging. So
Nick, it seems like Nick's is fine. So it might be your Wi-Fi. I don't think it's mine. I would only say that because if it was both you and Nick, then I would know it was mine. But I don't know.
Right. I have all of the Wi-Fi, so I don't understand why. Why?
I don't know either. I don't get it. I don't understand either. But yeah, so where was I? Wildcard Weekend. Yes, Texans. Yeah, CJ Stroud. Amazing game. Arguably the best rookie performance by a quarterback of all time in the playoffs. There he goes again. So they're moving on. They're playing the Ravens in the divisional round, and we'll talk about that matchup later. But he's made a splash. He's poised to do it again. And he has a pretty decent cast around him. I just think it's really interesting what this team's ceiling can be in the future when you have a healthy Tank Dell. If you get some more help maybe on the offensive line or another defensive piece there, the Texans could stick around for a long time if CJ Stroud continues on this track. And they're with him at the helm, they're gonna win a Super Bowl. It's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna be this year, but they're gonna do it at some point in the next 7 years.
I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if somehow the Texans ended up in the Super Bowl. I don't want to say by chance, but it just CJ Stroud to me is just that good. Where
I don't think it's a chance. Yeah, he does elevate the play of the players around him, and there's only so many players in a lifetime that can do that. So if he's able to continue that kind of process, and it wasn't the prettiest season for him. It really wasn't. I mean, he had some struggles in the beginning of the season, but ripped off a ton of big wins. Obviously, he was injured for two of those for a 1-1 streak for whoever played, Case Keenum possibly. But yeah, I mean, incredible season for CJ Stroud so far, culminating with that wild card win, stampeding over the Browns, breaking James's heart into a million pieces. So, any other thoughts on the Texans Browns before we move on? Because I have points on the Texans, but I want to talk about them in the divisional round preview.
No, I'm good. We can just keep on rolling.
Dolphins Chiefs. Not a lot to talk about in that game. The weather won the Chiefs that game. That's it. End of story.
I don't think so.
What?
I don't think it was just
really. I disagree. I think that the weather solely won them that game because Miami doesn't play in that type of weather. They've never done that ever.
Yeah, I know, but it's the playoffs. You're not going to let the weather stop you, right? And that's how I look at it.
Okay, that's fine, but when it's negative 30 degrees outside, helmets are breaking because they're that cold and brittle. I do think that unfortunately, it just came down to a matter of home field advantage. It really did. I think it did. Listen, I'm not saying that the Chiefs wouldn't have beat them without the weather. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the weather.
That sounds like what you said.
What's that? What?
It sounds like what you were saying.
No, what I'm saying
sounds like you were saying that they would have beat them other than the weather. Like,
no, what I'm saying
if
is that
it was
the Dolphins
not
would have had a
-30, they
chance
would
to
have.
beat them if the weather wasn't like that. With the weather like that, there was absolutely no chance. That's what I'm saying.
What I'm hearing from this point is Zack hates the Chiefs and that the Chiefs are
also
over as the next dynasty and booted the Patriots. That's all I'm hearing from this.
I mean, the Patriots kind of booted themselves by letting Tom Brady walk and then winning another Super Bowl. So I don't really feel like that. I hate the Chiefs for obvious reasons, and that is Brittany Mahomes. I can't stand Kermit the Frog throwing a football, and now that Taylor Swift is wrapped up in all of this nonsense, it's just expounded my hatred. So, yeah, no, again, like I said, no chance with the weather. They would have had a chance to beat them with normal weather. I just think that the weather was too much of a factor for the Dolphins to be able to handle. That's why I think that was the main factor in that game was the weather.
I mean, it definitely was a huge factor, obviously. I'm not going to say I wasn't, but the way I look at it, for me, it's the Dolphins, I think, what was their record? Did they even beat a team over 500 throughout the season? So, to me, it wasn't.
I mean, they beat the Cowboys. They didn't beat they lost to the Bills twice. They lost to the Chiefs. They lost to the Ravens. So, no, I mean, they didn't. It seemed to me that, they had a lot of good wins over bad teams. But, I mean, hey, they barely beat the Patriots in both of their matchups. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that the Dolphins were a wagon. I thought that they were a fraud going into it. I think they're going to be a fraud unless they get rid of Tua, which who knows.
Yeah, I don't think Tua's the guy. I'm not saying he's bad, but
he's not. He's not. It's just not. He's not. He is not. He is not him. He is not him. But yeah, so I think that they're going to need to move on. They're going to need to find another quarterback for that team. But yeah, I mean, other than that, really, you think the Chiefs going into I forget the name of the stadium up in Buffalo, but going into Buffalo,
spanked by the fucking Bills this weekend.
I don't know about that.
Josh Allen is going to throw for 3 touchdowns and rush for another 2.
We will talk about this on divisional time, sir. All right. But I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup for the Bills. Very interesting.
They've been the losers against the Chiefs the last 2 years, 3 years.
Well, I mean, they did beat them this year. They did beat them this year.
Playoff wise.
Regular season. No, correct. In playoff wise, the Bills have nothing on the Chiefs. They did beat them this year, so that's great and all, but they were 1 penalty away from losing to the Chiefs again. So, remind you of any particular playoff game, Drew? Oh, he's not happy.
Yes.
Wow. I think let's just Nick, we're gonna solo screen Drew here. Just so the lovely people can stare at his face as he zones out for the rest of eternity.
I feel bad that you don't feel good.
I know. You can go.
I'm not zoning out. Right enough. I'm trying to fix the fucking lag.
Oh, okay.
So
well, good luck with that.
Lag.
Good luck with that. All right, next matchup. We had the Bills and the Steelers. Honestly, it was a game at certain points, but Steelers going steep. Mason Rudolph threw that costly pick in the end zone. That would have had them a lot closer in a more competitive game, but they just were not able to hang around with the Bills. Interested to see where this is going on the bottom of my screen here. We have double Drew chains.
I just saw that.
Yeah. So is that working better for you? Or
I don't know.
I don't know what's going on, but I'm here for it.
confused.
I love it. I love the chaos. Well, fantastic. So yeah, we had Steelers and Bills. Bills played a really good game. And eventually took that W from the Steelers, sending them packing back to Pittsburgh. Any thoughts on this game before we move on to the NFC and kind of keep rolling the wagon here?
Steelers shouldn't have been there.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I agree, but the Jaguars couldn't. And what other team?
Trevor Lawrence
and
better.
The Colts lost to the Texans, so I mean,
yeah.
So nothing we can do about that. The Steelers should not have been there. They played a much better game than a lot of people were going to give them credit for, though. It just wasn't. It wasn't enough. All right, NFC matchups. We'll go in reverse order this time. We will go the Cowboys and Packers. We'll start there at 2-7. What a game! What a game that was by the Packers. Jordan Love, perfect passer rating. That vaunted wide receiver, like rookie second year wide receiver room for the Packers is insane. Every Packers fan up in Green Bay and beyond is drooling at the thought of having Brett Favre 3.0 at this point. So
he could chuck that ball, man, and it looks so good.
He is poised. He is poised as fuck. He has traits of both Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, and the fact that he was able to study under Rodgers for a couple of years before having to start. I mean, some of the mannerisms, some of the throws that he's making.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like carbon copy. I don't know how they do it. I mean, three years ago, I remember them taking Love, and Drew was like, "Oh my God, what are they doing? They gotta get Aaron Rodgers help." And then, obviously, it worked out. And the complaints about not drafting wide receivers in the first round.
I was.
No. Listen, I
wasn't like against the move for the team moving forward. It just,
of course,
it sucked that they had the window to do something with Aaron Rodgers and didn't.
That's true. I get it.
But
I understand
like you said, it worked out.
I mean, that's the thing, though, right? You look at the wide receiver room now versus what it was 3 years ago. Javonte leaves, and you're left in shambles. But now you have guys like Reed, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson.
I mean, and Romeo Doubs is fast as fuck, boy.
And
so quick.
3 of them really all serve a different purpose in that offense. So, I think the Packers hit a home run with each of those picks in the last 3 years. And Jaden Reed, I mean, he looks like a steal.
He's a rookie this year too, right?
He's a rookie. He's looked really good. Yeah. I'm excited to see the Packers obviously playing this game against the 49ers. It's going to be tough. They're probably going to lose, but I'm excited to see their future. Seems like they're not going to miss a step. They drafted well the last 3 or 4 years, it seems like, on offense, and they've hit on defense too. Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness looks pretty good too, Drew. Mm-hmm. So
now, Drew, hold on.
Yeah, I mean, they look good.
Yeah, all right, Nick, go ahead. Just ask a question.
They look good.
Yeah.
I want to add in terms of the running back position, Drew. Do you want to keep on to Aaron Jones? I mean, he rushed for 120 yards and 3 tuds. Doesn't look like he has any plans of slowing down, but I'm curious to see how long you as a fan would like to hold on to him.
I mean, he really is one of the only veteran anchors on that defense or offense. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I think that's super important given how young that group of receivers and tight ends is. I mean, not a single guy that's been in the league for more than 2 years. Not one. So I definitely would like to see him back next year, which I think is pretty much a given. And I kind of just play it year by year. I don't know exactly what his contract is right now, but I don't see a reason to move on from him at this point. As long as he's healthy, he's a phenomenal running back. So
that's my only concern as a football fan, because I every year I find myself having a share of Aaron Jones in fantasy, or even just watching football in general. I always find myself watching the Packers, and not even because I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch the Packers. they'll always end up on my TV, and I enjoy watching Aaron Jones play. He's been good for a while, and he's not playing good still. So good to see.
Feels like a beefier version.
He's electric. He's fun to watch.
He is absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
What would you say, Zach?
So he feels like a beefier, like better pass catching version of Raheem Mostert.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not as fast though.
No, he's not as fast, but that's
not
that's
as outright fast, no. But he's pretty much as quick as anybody.
Yeah,
of course.
He's shifty. He is very shifty. Great. All right, let's move on. We got 3rd seed Lions and the 6th seed Rams. I think this is the only game that we were split on, right, Drew? Last week, I had the Rams beating the Lions, and you had the Lions beating the Rams. It came down to the wire. It was a very close game all throughout the game. For about 4:30 left, the Rams just couldn't punch the ball in the end zone. Turnover on downs, and the Lions just ran out the clock from there. They relied on their two horse running back room, and they just ran the ball, ran the clock, and that was it. All she wrote. For the Rams on their season, Puka had a hell of a game, 184 yards, I believe. Another rookie record. It is incredible to know that Puka is probably not going to win Rookie of the Year because of CJ Stroud.
I'll be right back. Sorry, guys.
No worries. I think it's very interesting to see that is going to be the case, unfortunately. I would love to see them do co-Rookie of the Years because both of them have had lights out years for their respective teams. I mean, it's been crazy. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. Obviously, Rookie of the Year is going to go to CJ Stroud at this point, but Puka really, came out of nowhere and filled in for one of the league's best wide receivers on a team that didn't really have hopes, brought them to the playoffs, and did his part in trying to win that game on Sunday. So Rams go home, Lions move on. They get to host the Bucks this coming weekend. Which should be a very, very interesting game to watch. Two teams that honestly people just didn't believe were gonna be there. So
I did. Maybe the Lions anyway.
Well, I figured the Lions were gonna be in the playoffs. I just didn't assume that they were gonna, make it. I really didn't think they were gonna win a playoff game, honestly, especially after the last couple of weeks and what had been going on.
Mm-hmm.
But they were able. They returned to their game plan. So, any other thoughts on this game? No? All right.
No.
Last game to talk about from Wildcard Weekend before we split into our divisional matchups, and then some fun trivia. All right. So we had the Bucks and the Eagles 4-5 there. Just a terrible game plan by the Eagles. What did they end up scoring? 9 points, 16 points, something like that.
It was like 32 or 34-9 or something like that.
It was bad. It was bad. Clearly the Eagles missed AJ Brown in that game. The other receivers tried to do their part and pick up the slack. It wasn't going to work. It just wasn't. The Bucs were ready for that Eagles team. Sad to see Jason Kelce go. Obviously, a monumental player in the league. For people to talk about a center like that, so he's obviously going to the Hall of Fame. He's Canton bound, and we will never forget his outfit post Super Bowl. That outfit on the parade route was just one of the best. I loved it, and I was still crying from losing to them. So that speaks volumes. Sobbing into a bowl of mac and cheese. Terrific game by Baker. I think that no one gave him the credit. No one, everyone wrote him off. He is this year's version of Geno. He ain't right back.
Is he better than Geno?
Okay, so do I think Baker Mayfield is better than Geno Smith? Absolutely. I think he has more arm talent, and I think he has more awareness than Geno Smith does.
I agree.
I also think that Baker has more time left. He's a little bit younger. So, I mean, all those factors. Geno was drafted in 2013. Let's not forget.
2015,
which is still crazy. Think about all those Jets quarterbacks that are just turned into journeyman projects and won more games for other teams than they ever did with the Jets. So
I don't forgive Geno for starting over Eli and ruining that streak. It wasn't his fault, but nevertheless.
Well, what can you do? Geno went on to do very well with the Seahawks and then just turn back to mid-Geno. All right, well, let's move on to our divisional matchups this week. We have 4 games. 4 games.
That's it.
Only got 4 games. Yep, 4 games. We have let me just put this here. 2 games in the AFC. We have the Ravens and the Texans, and then we also have the Bills and the Chiefs, rematch of 13 seconds. And then in the NFC, we have the Lions and the Bucks, and we have the 49ers and the Packers. So sad for Drew. Gonna be a tough road for the Packers. But let's stay in the NFC. Let's talk about that 1 and that 7 matchup. Let's talk about the Packers and the 49ers. Drew, I really want to know, what the Packers need to do in order to win this game, because I think that's the question, is whether or not the Packers can do enough to win this game. We know that the 49ers can make multiple mistakes and still win this game somehow. So
they need to not let the 49ers run all over them. They need to fucking actually play defense this time. I don't know. It's that team has so many ways to hurt you and so few ways to be hurt. I don't know. They just gotta keep doing what they're doing on offense. That needs to stay the same. But on defense, man, I don't know. They need to stop Christian McCaffrey. But that's probably not going to happen. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you got a Hydra there. You got a 6-headed horse. Christian McCaffrey counts as 2 of those heads for receiving and for rushing. So, I mean, there's just so many ways that team can hurt you, like you said, Drew. I really think that what they need to do is make Brock Purdy throw the ball. They need to play man coverage a lot of the times. It's going to be really hard because Brandon Ayuk and Debo and George Kittle, I mean, they're all matchup nightmares. Jair matching up with whoever he's going to end up being on, probably Brandon Ayuk. You probably want who's your fastest corner, Drew?
Jair.
Okay, well, so then whoever the number 2 is will probably cover Debo, but I think that Jair should be on Brandon Ayuk because he's the one that's going to hurt you in this game through the air.
I'm sure it'll change. I'm sure it'll.
Yeah, they'll probably throw the matchups around.
He'll be on multiple. Yeah. There's no clear cut. Hey, we got to stop this guy with San Francisco. It's not like it is with Dallas, where you stop CeeDee Lamb, you stop most of their offense. So I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's going to take a full team effort to have any type of a chance to even, just not get our asses kicked this game.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think that their game plan should be to put all of the pressure on Brock Purdy. Really, they should be looking at that Eagles game plan from last year. I think that's your best bet.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, last year Brock Purdy got hurt. So.
No, fair. I mean, I get that, but you still have all of those weapons to utilize, whether it's Brock Purdy or not. You want to try to expose the guy throwing the ball. You still don't know what he's going to do in the playoffs, right? Has he played a complete playoff game?
No. Yeah.
Has he?
The divisional round last year.
He played the divisional round last year?
Sure, he would have played that. I'm sure he would have.
Okay. Well, I'll take a look at that. But I mean, if he's only got one playoff game under his belt, divisional round again. So you got to put all the pressure on him. Tight man coverage. Got to get a helper on the outside for Brandon Ayuk, or watch Debo on the short drag routes because he'll burn your ass. All right, I want to know for both of you. I want a game prediction. I want MVP of the game, and then I want I want an over-under on the score. I'll get the scores while you guys tell me your MVPs and the picks. Nick, you're going to go first. I want a pick, and I want an MVP for the game.
Which game? I'm sorry.
Again, I feel like it's weird. I feel like it's weird to give you like the game prediction and an over-under.
I never said the score.
If we're going to give you a score.
Okay, that's fine. So then just give me a score.
Well, when you say game prediction,
I wasn't gonna have you give me a score. I was just gonna have you give me who you think's gonna win, and then doing it over under, because it's hard to predict the right score, but over under, you got a pretty even chance. So, but I got the odds. I'm pulling up the odds right now. So Nick, why don't you go ahead? Who do you have winning this game? Who is your MVP? And then I will tell you the odds in just a second.
I'm gonna go Green Bay. I think
wow.
Okay. I'm gonna take the underdog, and I think I don't know. I mean, we see this in football all the time. I think some teams that are better than others take that for granted, and the way that Green Bay came and beat the Cowboys, like, I understand the Cowboys are the Cowboys, but right, they were still 12-5 to finish the season. CD Lamb's been popping off for the majority of it. You had Micah Parsons. I don't know where he went in that game, but still, he was on the field. You never count him out. I think if Jordan Love plays any close to what he did last week against the Cowboys, and I believe that he can do it against the Niners, I think that they could steal a win and go to the NFC Championship. So I'm gonna go Green Bay and Jordan Love.
Okay. MVP Jordan Love. Packers taking the game. Over under 50.5 points. What do you got? Over or under 50.5?
I'm gonna say under.
I'm gonna say under on that game. So defensive matchup. Gotcha. All right, Drew, to you, sir, for your hometown Green Bay Packers. Who do you have winning the game? Who's the MVP? And then over under 50.5.
As much as I would love to see the Packers win, I don't think that they're gonna. History kind of, spoke for itself last week. I think it's gonna do so again. San Fran's a team that we cannot beat in the playoffs. And
historically,
I would love for the Jordan Love regime to go and prove me wrong. That would make me happier than anything in the fucking world. And if they beat San Fran, they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty fair.
as much as I would love to see it, I cannot honestly choose the Packers in the game. So I'm gonna go San Fran. I think Christian McCaffrey's the MVP.
All right.
And I think it's probably like 31-24.
All right, so you have over 50.5. Gotcha. All right. So you are the exact opposite of Nick. Nick has Packers, Jordan Love MVP under 50 points, 50.5. Drew has 49ers, Christian McCaffrey in over. I'm going to split the gap. I do think that the 49ers win this game, unfortunately for Packers fans. No, but you'll understand what I'm saying. I think the MVP of this game is actually going to be Brandon Ayuk. I think Brandon Ayuk is unfortunately going to gas the Packers. And I'm going to have I'm also going to have the under. I think that this is going to be a much closer defensive game. So that's where I'm splitting the gap, Drew. I'm picking the Niners, but I'm also picking the under. So fuck you. I love you, but fuck you. All right, next game. We get the Lions and the Bucks. Interesting matchup. I don't really know how to gauge this.
Ride the wave, baby.
What, the blue wave? The blue wave or the red wave?
The blue rave.
The blue wave. All right, so here's the deal, okay? If the Lions make it to the NFC Championship, I will buy a powder blue ski mask and wear it on our next stream.
I'm for it.
I'm going to have to cut the holes out myself, though, unless I can actually find a ski mask. So we'll find out. I mean, I have the Lions winning. I do. I just it's very Lions-y for them to just like get people's hopes up and then just absolutely shit the bed.
I think that's going, man. There's a different culture there. I'm telling you.
It is. Dan Campbell
not to the Bucks.
Dan Campbell has flipped the script on the Lions being a bottom feeding franchise. They opened the year off with that really impressive win over Kansas City. In Kansas City, right? Were they in Kansas City?
Mm-hmm.
Shocking the Chiefs. Oh, no, they would have been because it was banner raising night. Shocking the reigning champions and everyone in the NFL world. Had an amazing game plan. So I'm going to ride the wave too. I'm going to say the Lions win this game. Baker Mayfield has another good game, but unfortunately I don't think the defense is up to snuff to combat Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta, who hopefully is okay and will be able to play in this game. And then obviously Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, who have been lights out for them all year. So I'm going to take the Lions in this game. I'm going to say the MVP is going to be I'm going to give it to Amon-Ra. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to have a really nice game for them. And then the over-under for this game is 48.5. I'm going to go over just based on how the Lions played against the Rams and the Bucks played against the Eagles. I think that this game will go over.
Yeah, I'm going to say over too. Lions.
All right, so Nick, you got the Lions and the over. Who's your MVP?
Amon-Ra.
Amon-Ra. All right, cool. Lock it in. Same, but also same. Drew, who's your pick? Who's your P? Over or under?
You mean Lions?
3-peat.
Lions under. And David Montgomery.
Okay. All right. Big rushing game. I see. I get it. I'm with it. All right. Let's move over to the AFC. We got what do we start? We started with the one. So let's start with the other matchup in arguably the best matchup in this divisional round in the Bills and the Chiefs. 3 years in a row in the making, ready for the Bills to finally have their turn hosting the Chiefs in the playoffs. You know that shit's gonna be nuts. Like if you have a ticket to that game in Buffalo, your ass going through at least 3 or 4 tables. It's happening.
Flame tables, like the WWE.
Yes, flame tables. Fuck it. They'll just put out the grills. You'll jump on grills. Like anything you can physically jump on. If it's a platform, you jump on it. Do it. I want to see it. I want to see people go home with either frostbite or 3rd-degree burns. Something's got to happen here. It's Bills culture. That's what they love to do. I don't get it. I'm not jumping through tables for the Patriots. I'm all set.
I might have snapped a broom over my leg for the Giants, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, I mean, I think I cried one time, but I was like, all right, whatever, I'm over it now. It was definitely that 16-1 season ending game. So, thank you for that. I really appreciate you. Childhood trauma achieved.
That made my childhood.
yeah, I know, no kidding. Two separate childhoods were formed that night. One was steeped in crying and trauma. The other one was crying and not trauma.
Weeping.
Yeah. Weeping tears of joy. I mean, listen, I get it.
Don't you worry though. Nick has had more than his share of trauma since that night.
I mean, listen, they won 2 Super Bowls in 4 years in that span. So can't complain. It sucks now because DJ, but Bills Chiefs. Bills Chiefs. Not for long. You're right. I could see them snatching Jaden Daniels sidebar.
Yeah. All the mock drafts that I've seen, I know it's a sidebar, but all of them
like that for them. I think Jaden Daniels would be a good fit for them.
Yep.
So Bills Chiefs. Where do we go from here? Because it's the same old every time these two meet in the playoffs. The Bills finally got the better of the Chiefs, albeit regular season matchup, but they finally beat the Chiefs. Is it their year to finally beat them in the playoffs as well? Do we feel this way? Sound off, Queen.
I think it's the best chance they're going to have.
They are at home. That crowd is going to be a factor. We know the weather is not going to be a factor because both of these teams play in extreme cold weather situations no matter what. So we can cross that out. We know it's going to be a very good matchup. What is the difference maker in this game?
For what? For what team?
Either team, because I think you have an even matchup here. I really do. I mean, obviously home crowd advantage is going to help a little bit, but what players are going to be able to make the difference in this game in order to bring a win home or keep a win in house, so to speak?
It's quarterbacks, right? It's one or the other. It's without them.
That's why I'm opening the floor because I don't have a clue. Obviously, quarterback play is huge in any game that you have, but especially with these two, I mean, every time that they meet on the field, there's something magical happening. So yeah, I mean, quarterback play should be the X factor in this game. We've seen Josh Allen rise to the occasion in the last 7 or 8 games. Patrick Mahomes has played spotty quarterback play for the entire season. I mean, not to say he's had a bad season, but
for his standards, it's a bad season. He had 14.
For his standards, it's a bad season. For anyone else, it's like a career high. But but I really think that unfortunately for the Chiefs, the lights are going to be a little too big for that wide receiver room. I think Rashee Rice has had a good season, and he's been their standout. But they just have too many drops. And if they can't feed the ball to Travis Kelce, which they haven't been able to do really all season, he's had a really down year. If they can't feed the ball to Travis Kelce, and if they're getting to Isaiah Pacheco off the line, if they're getting contact right at the line, the Chiefs are going to have a really hard time in this game, regardless of what Patrick Mahomes is able to do, because Buffalo plays really well at home. Especially that defense, they play like a bat out of hell at home. So,
yeah,
All right. Well, let's start with Drew. Drew, who you have winning the game? Who's the MVP? And over under 45 points.
Yeah.
I like the Bills. I like Josh Allen, and I like the over.
I'm gonna Agree with all of that.
Same.
Fantastic. So the Chiefs are going to win. It's going to be the under, and Patrick Mahomes is going to be the MVP. Got it. Because again, whatever I say, everything the exact opposite thing happens. So, not good to agree with me in most facets.
To be fair, I said it. You just agreed.
Okay, that's fair. Good point.
Maybe that'll help.
Maybe your juju will counteract my bad juju. All right, last game, and the shocking matchup of Lamar Jackson and the Ravens and C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans, they had a home game. I would argue upset the Browns. Better record, better defense, and they curb stomped them at home. They got to go on the road to Baltimore. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game for them. I got the Texans. I think the Texans are going to win this game. I really do. I really do.
I think it's going to be close, but I think the Ravens are going to pull this one out.
The way that the Texans played the league's best defense last week, which again is not it's not an argument. They were arguably one of the best defenses in the last 20 years. Literally second to only the Legion of Boom in points per game and yards per game. He carved the ever-living shit out of them. So, the Ravens already beat the Texans all the way back in the beginning. Obviously, they're two completely different teams. The Ravens are better than they were, and obviously the Texans are just a complete flip of what they were in the first 5 games. So, yeah, I got the Texans. I think C.J. Stroud is your MVP here, and I think you got the over. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game.
Interesting. I'm going to go Ravens under Lamar as my MVP of the game.
Okay, Drew?
It's hard. Going into the playoffs, if the Texans win in any other fashion than how they actually won last week, this is an easy pick for the Ravens. But like you said, they tore the best defense in the league to shreds.
One of the best defenses.
Now,
in the
14 of those points were scored by Houston's defense.
Fair. That's fair.
So,
fine.
But still, putting up 31 points on the best defense in the league is nothing to sneeze at. So,
take away those two.
I think that I think the Texans are going to win a close game. And I think Devin Singletary is going to be the MVP. I think he's going to kind of pave the way for the passing game to open.
He found himself a home down there. He looks a whole lot better, and they're using him, I think, a lot better than they ever did in Buffalo. So I like it.
I agree.
I like it. All right, well, those are your divisional matchups. All of our expert opinions. So let's get into it. Let's get into some trivia. Divisional round, 5 questions. 5 questions, okay? I'm going to make this easy. We're not going to go to an hour and 45 like we did last time, Drew. Promise I will have you out of here in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe 15. So we can go and draft. All right, so question number 1. And let me think about how I want to do this. I know how we're going to do this. You guys are going to remove yourselves from the stream. Okay? I'm going to ask the question. Because I'm not going to be able to tell who says what first. So whoever enters the stream first and gets the opportunity to answer the question. If they get it wrong, the other person has a chance to steal. Okay? If neither of you get the question right, then no one gets the point. So here's the caveat. One of you has to at least get 2 points in order to win. Okay? So, like, what I'm saying is, if you can't answer 4 out of the 5 questions and then one of you guys just gets 1, it doesn't count. You got to have 2. You got to have at least 2. Okay? And like I said, the prize is a 2023 Prestige CJ Stroud rookie card that will be delivered here at some point in the next 2 weeks. It's shipping is
the way you said it was just funny to me. I don't know.
Yeah, because I have no idea when it'll get it. All right, fantastic. Question number 1, Drew. You know the deal. We're gonna talk about some scores first. I'm sure everyone had a chance to look these up. I'm sure. So we're gonna remove you guys from the chat here. Go ahead, Nick. You removed me. You removed me. How dare you? All right, first. Yeah. Is that how we feel? Yeah. Okay. No one wants the card then. That's fine. I'll see you guys later. Bye. See you.
We back.
Get out of here. All right. First question for 1 point. We have had divisional round every year since 1970. A divisional round matchup, 8 teams, 4 matchups duking it out for their chance to make it to their conference championship. What I want to know, out of all of these matchups, what was the lowest scoring game in divisional round history? I just need the score. That's it. I don't need teams. I don't need any of that. I just need the score. That's it.
3-0.
Drew, you are incorrect.
Damn it.
I'm going to say 9-3.
Nick, I'm sorry. You are also incorrect.
9?
Drew was a little closer. So the lowest scoring game in divisional round history was the Dallas Cowboys winning 5-0 over the Detroit Lions in 1970-71. 5-0. So obviously no points for that.
The first year of the divisional round.
The first year divisional round was around. The Cowboys beat the Lions 5-0. That was the lowest scoring matchup in divisional round history. I don't know how you get more of a worse game than that. I mean, 5-0 is just crazy.
That's a field goal and a safety.
It certainly is.
What kind of boring ass fucking game was that?
Excellent analysis, Nick.
Yeah, it's pretty garbage. It's pretty garbage.
All right. Well,
see you later. Go ahead. Question number 2. Question number 2 is going to be about overtime. It's going to be about overtime. All right. So let's bear with me here. All right, gentlemen, question number 2. Since 2000, how many games, divisional round games, have gone into overtime?
Three.
Incorrect. That is an incorrect answer, sir.
I'm going to say 12.
Close, but no. It was 10. And the games are as follows. Kansas City Chiefs beating the Buffalo Bills 42-36. We have the Arizona Cardinals beating the Green Bay Packers 26-20, and the famous Packers did not get the ball in overtime after beating the two Hail Mary passes from Aaron Rodgers. The Baltimore Ravens beating the Denver Broncos in the Mile High Miracle 38-35. Double OT game, by the way. We have the Chicago Bears and Seattle Seahawks in 2006. We had, we had the Pittsburgh Steelers and New York Jets in 2004, 20-17 there. We had the Eagles and the Packers in 2003, 2004. We also had the Panthers and the Rams, 29-23 Panthers in double OT. 2002, we had the Titans and the Steelers, 34-31. And the first ever game played in overtime in the new millennium was your Tuck Rule game, 16-13, Patriots against the Raiders. So I believe that is 10. All right, so you guys are 0 for 2. Remember, you got 3 questions left. One of you guys has to answer. What's that? Oh, see you later. Okay, Drew.
Okay.
I know he's sick, but come on, look at this face. It's lovable. You want to punch it sometimes, but it's lovable. All right, next question. Next question, gentlemen. We've went to overtime. We've seen the lows. I'm not going to talk about the highs because we've already gone into this. We know what the highest scoring divisional game of all time is, thanks to Drew. It was the Packers-Cardinals, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Or was that Wildcard? It might have been Wildcard. I'm not sure. We're not going to do a highest scoring one anyways, because why the hell would we do that? Gentlemen, we're going to talk about some shutouts. We're going to do shutouts now. Since 2000, how many shutouts have there been? Looking for the number of shutouts that there have been in the divisional round since 2000. Nick.
99.
What?
99.
Shutouts?
Yes. I don't fucking
90?
know.
What? 90? Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Since 2000, there have not been 99 divisional round games. How?
Sorry, divisional. I missed that.
Oh, not playoff. This is divisional round only. How many since 2000? How many divisional round games has featured a team to not score a single point? How many games since 2000? Remind you. Drew, go ahead. Steal the answer. What do you got?
I'm going to say 5.
Drew, you're going to say 5. Nick, give me an answer. Quickly.
14.
You are both wrong.
Fucking hell.
I'm going to give you some chance. I'm going to give you a chance of redemption, though, because obviously we're getting to the end. We only got 5 questions. If you can give me the conference and the 2 divisions that played each other in this game, well, so obviously the 2 divisions, you'll get the conference. But if you can give me the 2 divisions that played each other in this game and what division won, then I will give you the answer, and I'll tell you what the score was. Obviously, one team had 0. So. And by the way, there's only been 1 shutout in the division round since 2000. You gotta. It's not that hard. You got a chance. Again, divisional round, so don't forget, you could have teams from the same division playing each other, so keep that in mind. However, I'm not going to tell you the conference. I'm not telling you the teams. You got to give me the divisions that played each other and which division won the matchup. I'm going to give you guys until my live stream says 111. The live stream says 111. and then I'm gonna need an answer, or else we're moving on.
Was it the Giants and the Vikings?
Nope.
Fucking A, dude.
What can you point to me what game you're talking about specifically?
Never mind. That was the NFC fucking championship.
Oh, sorry. Divisional round. That's the whole spiel.
Yeah.
Whole spick and span.
All right. Drew's turn.
Drew. He's been good at this. He also has been very good at cheating and looking up the answers. So,
what do you think? I don't know this shit.
One.
Drew, are you good? Oh, one answer. Got it. So I was like, yes, we know that there's only been one game. I've said it like 17 times. Where are you? Yeah, no, I get you now. My bad. Yeah, you only did it for one answer. I know, you fucking fuckface.
I don't even know.
Dude, you got 2 conferences, 4 divisions in each conference. All you need to figure out for yourself is if it was 2 different divisions or if it was one division, and then name the divisions and what division won. That's it. There's limited choices here. There are limited choices because it's clearly not. It has to be someone in the AFC or someone in the NFC playing each other. So. You just gotta give it to me.
I don't know. AFC. West and West.
Okay, and who won?
The AFC West.
Yeah. So you are correct, except it was the AFC West and the AFC East. So
bastard! I knew it was them.
It was the Oakland Raiders beating the Miami Dolphins.
27-0.
7-0. Yes, 27-0. All right, well, gentlemen, see yourselves out because we got 2 more questions, and one of you guys needs to hit both for that card. Or unfortunately, I ain't nobody getting shit. So, all right. Well, we are looking at the divisional round matchup. We're looking at the divisional round here, and I would like to take a look at a little span here from 1984 to 1997. Let's see. The NFC was the only conference to win the Super Bowl from 1984 to 1997. They won the Super Bowl, 12 years in a row, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 13. Those divisional round matchups were interesting. I would like to know, though, how many of those NFC teams that won the Super Bowl scored more than 30 points in their divisional round matchup? And I'll phrase the question again. How many of the Super Bowl winning teams from that stretch of 12 Super Bowls for the NFC, how many of those teams scored more than 30 points in their divisional matchup? It's a number. And it can't be more than 13. So, there you go. There's your question. I'll give you guys a couple minutes. Drew!
7.
No!
Sorry. 7.
No.
4.
Also no.
Whatever.
Drew, I feel bad for you. It was 8. 8 out of those 13 teams. Yeah, so we had the New York Giants do it in 1986-97. We had the 49ers do it in back-to-back years. 34-9 over the Vikings, and then again 41-13 over the Vikings. The Giants doing it again 31-3 over the Bears. The Cowboys 34-10 over the Eagles. The 49ers over the Bears 44-15. The Cowboys beating the Eagles 30-11, and the Packers beating the 49ers 35-14. So there is history there. There's some history of the Packers beating the 49ers on the way to the Super Bowl, Drew. Just putting your hopes out there. Listen, I'm just saying that there's hope. There's hope.
Like I said, if they beat the 49ers, they're winning the Super Bowl.
I mean, there's evidence of it. There's a clear history. All right, so unfortunately for you gentlemen, no one will be winning the prize CJ Stroud rookie card. However, if one of you can get one of the next, I'm going to give a bonus question. If one of you guys can get one of the next 2 questions right, I will be gifting you a pack of random 10 card assortment.
Okay.
Consolation prize, but I hope it, whatever. All right, get the fuck out of here. This is my show. Yes, if for those of you watching at home, all like -7 of you, yes, I do have a problem. Divisional round matchups. Divisional round matchups. Get out of here. What are you doing in here?
I didn't touch it.
Get out of here. My God, Nicholas, you're causing so many problems. All right, we're going to look here. We've had some high-scoring games in the last 24 years. Very, very high-scoring games. How many teams have scored more than 40 points in the last 20 years, the 24 years, since 2000, divisional matchup? How many teams have scored more than 40 points? Do.
11.
Incorrect. Sorry, sir.
Well.
What?
I said, well.
It is not 11.
Oh. I thought you made it sound like he was correct.
No, incorrect. Incorrect.
Oh.
That is not correct. Got some hard trivia questions for you guys. Been stumping the boys. I'm obviously going to do a multiple parter for the next question. So don't you worry. There's a chance to get some points. What did I tell you, Drew? I had harder trivia for you this week.
Sure did.
And it wasn't really much of didn't really derive too far from what I did last week. So. I need an answer, Nick.
I genuinely don't know. I'm going to say 15.
Yes.
No fucking way.
Yes, 15 teams in the last since 2000 have scored over 40 points.
Cool.
How what?
Yes.
That's some baby back bullshit. Whatever, fine. There's a multiple part of question coming up anyways, but just some trivia for you folks. There were 2 games where both teams scored over 40 points. Was the Cardinals and the Packers. Obviously that OT game 51-45, and then we had the Colts and the Chiefs also do it 2 years later. 3 years later. 45-44 Colts. All right. We have – oh, wait. I'm sorry. That was the wrong game. Whoops. There it is. All right. Divisional round. Wait, no, that was right. I'm sorry. Divisional round matchups. All right. Let's see. I got a two-part question for you. What do I want to ask? Okay. In divisional round history, there has only been, let me see if I can get through this list here. There has only been 1, 2, 2, 3. Come on, son of a bitch. There we go. There have only been 3 teams that have amassed 50 points in a game. 50 points. Can you name any of these 3 teams? Obviously, the each one's worth a point. So, Drew, you're still in this if you can name all 3. Even if you can name 2 and Nick can't name the other one. I need 3 teams that scored 50 points. There have certainly been teams that have gotten close, but Nick, I saw you first. Would you like to give me one of the teams? Again, divisional round.
Is it the Cowboys?
No, we'll go to Drew.
Cardinals.
No, incorrect. Wild card, Drew. Three teams, more than 50 points in divisional round history. The Packers and the Texans both got very close to doing so last week in the wild card. Will we see another 50-point team this week? Mayhaps. All right. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Correct.
Is it?
Yes.
Sweet.
The Jaguars are one of 3 teams in divisional history to score more than 50 points. They, in fact, hold the record in most divisional points scored with 61. 61 points scored in a game. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was against the Jets. It was in the 90s. Sorry, it was the Dolphins. 62-7.
Jesus.
Yeah. Rough day for the Dolphins. All right, we got 2 more teams. Nick, you're at 2 points. If you get one more, it's over. And if Drew gets 2, then we go into sudden death tiebreaker. Drew, give me a team.
The Giants.
And that is not correct. Nick, back to you. I know, Drew, you got to go for a second. Go ahead. Drew, you can put it in the private chat. Your answer. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Was it not the Giants?
Chiefs.
It was not the Giants. No.
Okay.
It's not the Giants. Nope. Nick, you said the Chiefs.
I did.
Survey says the Kansas City Chiefs are one of the other teams, so that's a point for Nick. So, Drew, Nick, you'll be going home with our 10-card random giveaway or prize or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Drew, good luck. Good luck. Good try this time. You won trivia last week, so you're not going home with nothing. That's for sure. But Kansas City Chiefs beat the Houston Texans in 2019-2020 51-31. The other team to do it, the Washington Redskins.
Ooh.
All the way back in 19. Where is it? 1983. They beat the Los Angeles Rams 51-7. So there it is. There's your divisional round trivia. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to BOTA, to Garbage Time. As always, I'm Soggy Boy. You know where to find us: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, as the trendy kids now call it. Some nonsense.
We're not trendy.
Yeah, we're not. Nope, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, TikTok. Find us on all those platforms. If you want to take a look, we're going to be possibly streaming our fantasy draft in the next 20 minutes. So check that out. We should be able to set up a Discord sidebar. Anyways, losing my train of thought. An hour and a half episode is rough. So let's sign off here. Stay soggy, everyone. For Nick, for Drew, for James, who is out there in the corporate world, we love you.
Yes, make that money.
Come on, Drew. Sign us off. Let's hear it.
Bye.
Go.